Well, our top story, Serum Institute of India, the world's largest vaccine maker by number of doses produced, has sought the government's approval for emergency use authorization of the coronavirus vaccine that it's developing with the University of Oxford and British drug maker AstraZeneca. The Pune-based pharmaceutical firm is the second to do so after American firm Pfizer applied for emergency authorization for their vaccines that have got approval in the United Kingdom. Now, Adar Poonawalla also tweeted, as promised, before the end of 2020, Serum Institute of India has applied for emergency use authorization for the first made-in-India vaccine, Covishield. This will save countless lives, and I thank the Government of India and Narendra Modi ji for their invaluable support. So the first candidate that's actually being tested in India being applied for emergency approval. Well, to talk more about this vaccine, the approval that's sought and what it means, we're joined by Dr. Mohan Joshi, Dean, Nair Hospital, Mumbai. Thank you so much for joining us. Dr. Joshi, firstly, explain to our viewers what this emergency authorization entails.
Emergency authorization, that means that this is corona being a national or a, global emergency, and without going into the much details, of course, that we are going ahead with second and third phase trials, but we go ahead with authorization. The Drug Controller General has given permission to two vaccine companies. Maybe first is that Covishield, and now the phase 3 trials of Covaxin are also entering in the country, starting in 25 centers in the country. The Covishield has already got the emergency use power, or is allowed for the emergency use, and then it will be used for vaccinating the people in the country. Like Pfizer has received in United States, or the FDA has given, US FDA has given permission for the Pfizer vaccine.
Right. Though they say from the time of applying, now the Serum Institute applied yesterday for this emergency use authorization, and it usually takes up to 90 days for permissions to be given. But given that the ICMR is also a partner with the Serum Institute, hopefully, as the Prime Minister said earlier, that in a few weeks we can expect the vaccine.
Yeah, I agree with you that Prime Minister is of the same same wavelength, that it should be launched as fast as possible. And this is a vaccine which is manufactured in India. Now, this is being, corona pandemic being a global issue. Large number of people are dying because of this. So we have to go really fast on this, and not to wait for the various things or various protocols, but we have to go ahead and do that when we find that the vaccine is safe. So the vaccine is safe. It has been found in first two trials, the phase 2 trials. So therefore now, when the phase 3 trials and the results are analyzed by ICMR, the Drug Controller General will definitely give permission, has given permission probably, or will give permission soon for the Covishield.
Right.
Covishield, and similarly for Covaxin.
And now the challenges in actually, as soon as those permissions are given, the next challenge will be getting it to, various parts of India. And for that, there's been a lot of talk on whether we have, the kind of infrastructure in place to provide the vaccine, far and wide to remote areas as well.
Yeah, the Covishield vaccine needs only 2 to 8 degrees Celsius temperature for storage. And that is most of the places in the city areas it is available. The people are going ahead with the storage compartments, wherein there is a solar battery interface and the electricity interface. So at no point of time the temperature will go up or down. So that way there are manufacturers in the country who are definitely going ahead with this kind of strategy, that even if there is a power failure, the problem will not occur for a short-time power failure. There will be substantial battery backup for a given storage facility. So even in the remote places, it is very much possible to do this, and there is no problem in the metropolitan cities and in the bigger cities of the country. But even at taluka place, even at somewhere in the rural area, it is possible because they are going to have solar and battery interface or a sort of a good power backup for the given storage facility.
All right, that gives you a sense of the kind of challenges we'll face in, getting this vaccine to all parts of the country. We're also joined by Dr. Mohammed Rela, surgeon and chairman, director of Dr. Rela Institute and Medical Center in Chennai. Thank you so much for joining us, doctor. So exciting news now. 2 vaccines have applied for emergency authorization, the latest being the Serum Institute of India. And this vaccine, compared to the Pfizer vaccine, as everyone agrees, is better suited to India given the type of temperatures required and also the cost of the vaccine.
Absolutely right. The Serum Institute vaccine is the Oxford vaccine, which is done in combination with AstraZeneca. And this can be stored between 2 to 6 degrees or 2 to 8 degrees. It's normal fridge temperature. And we are used to really the cold chain of having vaccines in normal room temperature. And therefore, distribution of this vaccine is good. It's manufactured in India. The Serum Institute has already, I believe, have made 40 million doses even before really they got the permission, so that they're not wasting time. And it's well tolerated. I mean, they've done the phase 3 trial and they claim close to 70%. And they also think that if they adjust the dosage, it could be close to 90% really efficacy. And so far we have had no serious side effects. It's well tolerated. And 70% may seem like, it's, a third of the patients, it may not be effective. But they say that even when it is even if it doesn't prevent the infection completely, when patients do get the infection, they don't have the severe illnesses that you see or any life-threatening illnesses you shouldn't see. And I think that the Serum Institute vaccine is well suited for us. The Pfizer vaccine, the US vaccine, it's not been tried in India. They may actually give the emergency permission, even though it's not been really the trials have not been conducted in India. The Americans are very upbeat about it. But the problem is going to be the cost of the vaccine as well as really transporting the vaccine. Minus 80 freezers are not going to be available in most of the institutions. And to carry them from place to place would be a huge problem with the Pfizer vaccine.
Perhaps the Pfizer vaccine is something we'll only see in our big cities in the days to come, in the months to come. But Dr. Rela, also, do you think the controversy over the Chennai man who had claimed to have had an adverse medical impact of the vaccine, that has all been laid to rest with what the health ministry had said?
Absolutely. I think there is always going to be individuals who will crop up like that. You never know what the intentions are. For people like that, I believe they think that it is completely unrelated. It happened in Chennai. I'm in Chennai. I've been involved, and I know these people who are actually conducted the trial. And I think it's really. I don't think the public should get worried about it at all. But that's my personal opinion, actually.
Right, and various questions have been raised now that the vaccine seems in sight across the world. Questions about whether pregnant women should get the vaccine, whether these vaccines have been tried on pregnant women, also whether those who suffered from coronavirus actually should get a vaccine.
See, these questions will be answered with time, actually. I think in the initial phases, as we get experience with the vaccine in the vulnerable people, the elderly people, the healthcare workers, the people in contact with the public. And as the experience increases, I think we'll know more and more. I mean, obviously, it's always a worry when a new vaccine comes. It's not been tried and tested over a wide population. It's a worry. I think the benefits of the vaccine now, I think, will outweigh all of the potential risks that people are worried about. And it's normal to be worried about these things. And people who have suffered and have got antibodies don't have to have the vaccine anyway. If the antibodies are disappearing, is when they should be thinking about the vaccination. And that will be really a much later date. And that may be earlier next year or the middle of next year. So I wouldn't advise people who have already suffered from COVID and have got good antibody levels to have the vaccination anyway. And they will not be the priority, obviously.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Rela and Dr. Joshi, for joining us and speaking on the show.